So joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, for the rest of this segment and next segment, because we have a lot to talk about, Joe Conason, New York Times best-selling author, political commentator, and author of a new book, Man of the World, The Further Endeavors of Bill Clinton. And there's Bill on the cover, and here's Joe in the studio. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
It's been a while. All right, so we're going to talk a lot about the book in the next segment. I look forward to that. It's about Bill Clinton post-presidency and the Clinton Foundation and all the, as you put it, good work he's done. And you also take him to task in the book a little bit as well.
Sometimes.
So we'll talk about that. But Hillary, what purpose does it serve for Hillary to already know or claim to know that female white cop in Tulsa did the wrong thing in the shooting of the man in the video? How does she know how it's going to be adjudicated? And if it's adjudicated in the favor of the officer, it just fans the flames more than if she just said, let the justice system play out.
Well, I'm not advising her.
I know that, but you're...
So, I mean, it seems to me that what she's trying to do is to address the pain that African Americans feel about these repeated shootings of people who seem to be unarmed and perhaps should not have been shot. I mean, I'm not going to talk, I can't sit here and pretend I'm a lawyer and know the details of every one of these cases, but certainly in the African American community, Steve, people feel alienated. They feel as if they are targets of the police, whether they mean any harm or not, and that needs to change. And I think she's trying to address that feeling. And you know, the Clintons have been advocates of racial justice in this country for a long time. When Bill Clinton was a young man, he was one of the more outspoken opponents of the Ku Klux Klan, which was still very active in Arkansas in those days. And so I think they have a feeling about that.
Yet Bill Clinton excused Robert Byrd joining the KKK at his eulogy, said, I'll tell you why he did it, because he was running for office in West Virginia and he had to get elected.
Well, you know,
Hillary called Robert Byrd her mentor. Bill Clinton signed Confederate Flag Day into law in Arkansas. There's the Super Predators comments. There's the Bill Clinton telling Ted Kennedy about Barack Obama he'd be getting our coffee a few years ago.
Steve,
I don't think, so it goes both ways.
That last one I don't think is true, actually, or he told me it wasn't true.
Who told you it was? Bill?
Clinton did.
Okay, well,
yeah, but
Ted Kennedy said differently.
And somebody else was on that phone call also told me that wasn't true. But leave that aside.
Yeah.
I think the notion that somehow the Clintons are racist is one that people in the African American community would find absurd and ridiculous. And the idea that Republicans are going to try to make that case, well, they were advocates of the KKK, is nonsense. I mean, they fought them all their lives.
Well, how do you excuse
and
Robert
African
Byrd,
American
then? Yeah.
people know that, and that is why they voted for her and for him in record numbers every time they've run for office.
This is in response to trying to paint Trump as a racist who's done great work for minorities throughout his career. And in fact, Jesse Jackson in the 90s, and I've played this over and over again, I'm encouraging the Trump campaign to use it, praising Donald Trump in the presence of Trump at an event in a snowstorm, saying he's donated space at 40 Wall Street for us. Don't be fooled by his surface. He takes chances and risks to empower people and minorities. Says, when I ran for president, people thought it was a joke. He came to me. He was there for me. So, I mean, this is in the 90s when Trump's not running for anything. So this notion, as Hillary put forth, that he has a history of being a racist his whole life, doesn't fly either.
Well, I haven't heard her say she thinks he's been a racist
he has a history
his whole life. But the New York Times had a long article the other day written by a reporter I know and respect, Jonathan Mahler, about the history of discrimination in the Trump business and in renting apartments in New York, and I think that's very real. And I mean, I'm not saying Jesse Jackson didn't praise him. I think Donald Trump was a different kind of guy before he ran for president. Or at least he seems to have been. I've known him for years, and
since the 80s.
He mostly gave money to Democrats, as you know, when he was a businessman in New York, and seemed like if not a liberal, certainly a moderate. This campaign has turned out to show a different side of him anyway, and his family, very right-wing. And I don't want to say racist, although, the things he said about Mexicans in this campaign could certainly be construed as racist.
It could be you could interpret it that way. I don't. Yeah,
it's okay, but I'm certainly Mexican Americans feel that it is, or seem to.
Some do.
Many
not all.
do. Many do.
There are many Mexican Americans who favor.
Well, I mean, if you say a judge can't judge my case fairly because he has a
right,
Mexican
he
heritage,
blew that one big time.
That is a racist remark, and there's no question about it.
Racist means Sonia Sotomayor said by your standard and by that standard is racist because she said by nature.
Steve, you keep changing the subject
No, because Donald Trump, you have to judge somebody. Does he believe that Mexicans are inferior, the whole race? That would be a racist. That inherently Mexicans are inferior? That's a racist. Making a statement that's unfortunate doesn't mean that you're a racist. Otherwise, you know, Al Sharpton a racist?
I don't know if Donald Trump is a racist.
Right, well,
okay,
that's what I'm trying to say.
I can't read his mind.
Right,
I know that he's made comments that can be construed that way,
yes.
and he refuses to take them back. Okay, which is another problem.
Well, although he's apologized for hurting anybody in a general sense, as opposed to specific.
You and I both know that's kind of a meaningless.
Okay, we're coming back. We got a whole nother segment with Joe Conason. Don't go away.
Obviously, people would look at you as a conduit to getting through.
The stuff that they've said so far is just bull, but if she was actually the president, it would raise too many questions, and I think it's fair.
You're stepping down from the foundation, though. Chelsea is not at this point, and she seems to me to be a conduit who would essentially get through to Hillary Clinton, too.
I'm going to get off the board. We're going to give up corporate contributions, and the individual contributions will be reported on a regular basis. And Chelsea's got to decide what she's going to do, but somebody has to stay there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Bill Clinton yesterday talking about the Clinton Foundation. And joining us now is a man who has written a book that covers it all, Joe Conason. He's with us from the previous segment. He's rejoining me now. New York Times bestselling author, political commentator, and there's the book, author now of The Man of the World, or Man of the World, The Further Endeavors of Bill Clinton. All right, so Joe, so let me ask you about Bill Clinton. Let's start with post-presidency. I mean, he is a very, very extremely wealthy man, as is Hillary. How did that happen? Because when they left the White House, Hillary said they were flat broke.
Oh, they were worse than broke. They were deeply in debt, $12 million in debt. But you know, Steve, if you're giving speeches at $250K a pop, you eventually will get out of debt and become rich. If you sell a book for the highest advance in publishing history, as he did with his memoirs, and then publish a couple of other ones, and you get other big advances, all of that, you know, you eventually accumulate some wealth, and they are worth now, I think, $100 million or so. But it's taken a lot of many speeches over 15 years to accumulate that amount of money.
All right. So talk about the Clinton Foundation. I mean, it's been in the news a lot lately. It's
Yes.
under investigation. There's been, for instance, a story today, Wall Street Journal report, the Fragrance Foundation, a perfume trade group whose industry would later benefit from a Clinton Foundation project in Haiti. In 2014, a speech, they paid Bill Clinton $260,000 for a speech that lasted less than an hour. After the speech, the foundation organized and partially funded an effort to get Haitian farmers to plant thousands of lime trees to help both the farmers and the perfume and beverage industries, which were suffering from a shortage of lime oil. The Clinton Foundation said there was no connection between the speech and the work in Haiti. You talk about the speeches, so many speeches, I could show you dots that, if you wanted to connect them to favors and contributions to the Clinton Foundation and the intricacies are intertwined, there's a lot. No?
I mean, I don't, you can draw dotted lines as much as you want. It's hard for me to see what's wrong with President Clinton helping Haitian farmers to find a market for goods when there's so much unemployment.
After he's paid by the industry that would benefit to give a speech for $250,000?
But
yes.
Does the industry benefit, or does some specific company benefit? Because those are two very different things.
Well,
the industry is not. Yeah, the industry trade group is not benefiting directly from anything he did in Haiti. So for you to draw a dotted line there,
that's not me drawing a dotted line, but that's the Wall Street Journal.
Well,
it was the Fragrance Foundation, and there was a lack of lime growing in Haiti, which affected the whole fragrance industry, the Fragrance Foundation. So they planted the lime and blah, 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 but this all happened after they paid Bill Clinton a speech.
How long after?
I don't have the, I mean, I don't have the whole article.
I'll tell you, a lot of these stories are compressed in a timeline so that it's ridiculous. I'll give you a good example. So the other day, the Judicial Watch, which is paid millions of dollars every year by who knows who, because they don't publish their donors at all, to harass the Clintons. They've been doing it for 25 years.
They do a great job of getting information that ordinarily we wouldn't get.
Here's the information they put out the other day. They said that the Crown Prince of Bahrain had paid the Clinton Foundation $32 million, and that therefore Hillary Clinton communicated with him when she was Secretary of State. Do you know what the $32 million was? Not a cent of it went to the Clinton Foundation. It was a commitment made at Clinton Global Initiative for the Crown Prince of Bahrain to give scholarships to Bahraini college students, okay? No money to the Clinton Foundation. You know when he made that commitment? In 2005, at the first Clinton Global Initiative. When was the phone call that he wanted to have with Hillary Clinton, which he would have gotten anyway, since he's a major ally of the United States? 2010. 5 years later, he made the commitment before anybody had any idea that she would be Secretary of State. But Judicial Watch puts that out as if we found an instance of corruption, $32 million, and some news sources actually published that as if it was real.
Well,
it was a joke.
It wasn't the only example. There was about 80% of the people she met with were donors to the Clinton Foundation.
Completely wrong, Steve.
No?
You know, that story has actually, the AP, which put that story out, erased the tweet that they based that on.
Did they retract and apologize for the story, or erase the tweet?
That story has been debunked over and over again.
Did the AP withdraw it?
I don't know if they fully withdrew it, but that story was completely wrong. It left out many, many people that she met with. And, here's another good example. So she met with a man named Muhammad Yunus. Do you ever hear of him?
Sure.
He does what I would think conservatives would think was a good thing, which is to support small businesses in poor countries. You know how long Hillary Clinton has known him? More than 30 years. He is a Nobel Prize winner. She gets attacked for calling him on the phone, for helping him when he's under attack by his government. Why? Because he donated money to the Clinton Global Initiative, because like everybody else who comes and speaks there and participates in it, he made a donation. That's a ridiculous attack. And yet Judicial Watch puts that out and other groups put that out as if that's some huge problem. And the AP reports that, oh yeah, she met with somebody. No, it has nothing to do with that.
All right, well, there's a recent, according to the 2014 IRS filings, and we could put this up on the screen, 2014, the Clinton Foundation spent $91 million. Less than $5.2 million of it went to charitable grants, salaries and benefits $34.8 million, other expenses $50.4 million. About 5.5% of the money spent went to charity. The rest of it,
that's not true.
Not true. So the IRS filings are inaccurate. The Daily Caller story that printed them was false?
No, it's totally false, and I'll tell you why. Because neither the Daily Caller or anybody who repeats that story understands what the Clinton Foundation actually does. It is an operating foundation. It doesn't make grants to other groups the way many foundations do. It uses its money to provide services to people. Steve, they've saved millions of lives. And the fact that people attack them for that, James Carville said, someone's going to hell over this, because this is outrageous.
That's what Madeleine Albright said about women who won't vote for Hillary.
It's being done because this is a political year. Every other year, Steve, you see Republicans going to the CGI, Mitt Romney, John McCain, Carly Fiorina, who repeated that phony story herself during the primary season. That's not why they get A ratings from Charity Navigator and Charity Watch, or a platinum rating from GuideStar. Everybody who has looked at this, Bill Gates, the government of the UK, the government of Ireland, who have given them money over the years, has said this is top-rate, platinum-level service to people around the world. It's not some scam, and to portray it as that is really wrong.
The Clinton Foundation doesn't even do the HIV work, which, by the way, has come under great scrutiny from many people, including in the Marsha Blackburn, the Blackburn Report, which looked into everything about the HIV.
I've been to Africa with him three times,
but that's
and I've
not the
seen
Clinton
people who are
Foundation.
still
But
alive.
that's not even the Clinton Foundation.
It certainly is.
It's another completely independent
it's not
charity.
completely independent. Bill Clinton's on the board of the Clinton HIV.
But it's a
AIDS
different entity.
Well, it didn't start out as a different entity. Eventually, it became a different entity for business reasons. But the truth is, Clinton started that with Ira Magaziner, and they created a way for millions of people to get AIDS medication with money from U.S. taxpayers, by the way. The Bush administration started the President's Emergency Program for AIDS Relief, spent billions of taxpayer dollars, and saved millions of lives. I can't believe you or any other decent person in this country thinks that's a bad idea.
Whether or not it was authorized by the IRS, according to the Blackburn Report, is another story. Tell people what they're going to learn from reading Man of the World.
They'll learn the real story about this, much more than they would learn from anything that Marsha Blackburn or any other partisan person would understand about this, because they're doing this in an election year. I've been working on this book for 8 years, long before anybody thought she was going to be the Democratic nominee for president.
All right, fair enough. Man of the World, let's put it up on the screen. And there it is. Good picture of Bill Clinton, I got to say. Nice smile. Actually, you two could be like related, and you look a little like him. Great to see you, sir. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it.